Monet, why do you want to block out the cousins?
Don't you even dare.
Why?
Don't you even dare. I want.
Do you want the cousins to not get anything? Tell the answer, bitch.
Trending on our Patreon is it's the cousin erasure for me. I'm like, we are not erasing anyone, guys.
So it was okay. It was getting wild. It got to the point where I was like, I'm going to start blocking people. It was getting crazy, Monet.
One thing I want to say on a serious note is that we don't treat and talk to you guys in a mean, nasty way. So some of the comments on the tier change, they were very mean, especially pointed to Jacob. And I was like, we don't treat you guys like that, so we don't expect you guys to treat us in that way. That got wild. And you commented on that one, and I was like, oh my god, they're getting really aggressive.
Yeah, I was like, this is completely out of line, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say that, right here and right now. And I mean, I don't know, but I think that there is there was a lot of discussion in the chat about what was appropriate, and people were saying like some folks were doing too much, and some folks were like, honestly, it's not that big of a deal. There are some folks who were like, this is sneaky and underhanded. You guys are forgetting about us. I mean, when I was first reading it, I was like, this feels one person said that we were Trump. We were like Trump level deception, and I was like, part of me was like, we're not the only. It's not like we have the only medicine for diabetes in the world, and we jacked up the price 3,000%. Like, we added a tier to our Patreon, but we have not taken anything from the people who already have been established on our Patreon.
Yeah, and there was one beat that we like stepped back on because we were going to archive some of the older stuff. It was like, oh no, we don't want to do that. So like we quickly fixed that. But again, so and I do agree that maybe I could see some reasoning in you guys saying, hey, it would have been nice to have that post first that Jacob put up after explaining everything. Maybe that would have been nice to put that first. But I mean, we weren't like tricking and deceiving people. What we're doing is we're adding services to our Patreon. And for those people, because we had also people say, oh, I wish that the viewing party was like more intimate and stuff like that. So we're trying to make that more accessible for people. So for the stepdad tier, instead of normally our viewing parties have like 500 people, so maybe with the stepdad tier, it will be a little less people, so people will get more individualized experiences so like 50 people as opposed to 500, 600 people in a viewing party.
So this comment got 32 likes. It said, can't lie, it's a bit bad from Bob and Monet considering you had cousins who have lost their jobs due to the pandemic and have still found ways to keep up their subscription, especially when before y'all were saying that black people shouldn't worry about being siblings, but it's none of my business. It just feels to me like a bit of unnecessary money grab when we know how many patrons you have. Coffee tea emoji. Even if they were all paying a $5 a month, it would still be more than some of your subscribers are making in a year. Must be expensive having 2 boyfriends.
That was wild. And, not unless they're having 2 boyfriends.
And honestly, I was about to come at her and be like, just so you know, I'm about to just refund you your money for your lifetime subscription and just block you and be like, it's a wrap. Like, this is so unnecessary. I think that I do acknowledge that there are definitely probably people who are going through, different difficult times and stuff. And I think that we have kept our content pretty affordable. In my opinion, but then again, that's also subjective. That is fully subjective,
Yeah, and we've also bumped up like we've now at 2 podcasts a week, and we do on the Patreon exclusives. And again, the viewing parties will happen like sporadically, like they weren't like a scheduled thing. Whereas now we're moving to make it a scheduled thing, so people under these tiers are getting guaranteed things. So again, the cousins and the siblings, you guys are getting essentially more because we're scheduling viewing parties to do every month as opposed to doing them here and there and not on like a scheduled thing. So you're actually getting more by us adding a separate tier. A new tier, sorry.
How did you feel at seeing those responses on the Patreon page?
I thought there were some of them were like a little aggressive, and I thought, and I was like, again, to reiterate what I said before, I was like, we don't, but I also think it's kind of like this drag race thing, right? People like see the queens like read each other and stuff, and like be sassy and stuff, so then they send us DMs like or like comment on our pictures being really cunty, and also sometimes some of it is lost in reading comments as opposed to hearing tone and what someone is saying
That's
that way.
true,
So
yeah.
Maybe we were just reading into it a bit more too, and people weren't meaning it that way. But some of it, especially the stuff about like people hear me calling Jacob like you're thinking of the boyfriend, so like they were like calling him that, but maybe they were just saying it in jest. But it's hard to interpret tone from a message, and I feel like we have done I feel like we do a pretty good job of trying to be as inclusive as possible on our Patreon, and we also I haven't talked about it openly with Bob, but I said it when I did the Zoom party. Was we posted the podcast Lemonade and Tea with Alexis and Salem, and we were saying that's something that I would like to do going forward is like highlighting, because a lot of you guys have podcasts or you guys have different things, so maybe a monthly or weekly or something, can figure out a system where we highlight events and things that you guys are doing, so that, because again, we are building this community in Patreon, and it does feel like a safe space. Well, that post didn't seem super safe. But we want to definitely highlight creative stuff that you guys are doing too, and I think that all comes from fostering this community in the space that we're doing.
I'm going to read this comment. Not going to lie, this is the chaotic faggotry that I am here for. The sheer ruthlessness of some of the comments, LMAO. But in all seriousness, I do understand and relate to people's financial struggles, and it does seem like the ones who've been here from the jump are kind of getting washed out. I think they're just having trouble because they're using they're used to the old way of doing things, when there used to be a few thousand here, and now just adding another tier to the same format of the watch parties. There just needs to be some discussion on how to change things to fit the high amount of patrons now without shitting on our dearest cousins. Passes Blunt, they had 17 likes.
So are we? But so again, to reiterate, we're only adding, correct? Or am I in Lonely Island?
No, we're all in Manhattan, and we added a tier and we added some perks for that tier, but I can also see why it seems that way, because first of all, these sporadic we started doing viewing parties over a year ago. We still haven't got through one season of Drag Race.
Right, you know what I mean. So now we're regulating that,
and we still haven't made it through one season of Drag Race, and we started viewing parties over a year ago. So we're trying to beef up our programming. We're trying to give you guys 2 podcasts a week, and also not to mention Monet Exchange and I are trying to take the Sibling Rivalry stuff, the funds from our Sibling Rivalry, to also create original content that'll be just here on the Patreon, and trying to fund that, which I'm actually genuinely very excited about. So Jacob reposted a new thing, a new it says our new tier, and it's like a whole like discussion. And this one also got a lot of here's a few comments here. The tone seems to have
I also
changed
wanted
here.
to clarify something for that as well.
We're listening.
So in that tier, I say, for the cousins, I say they'll have access to, let me pull it back up really quickly. Nope, this isn't it. I'm so sorry. Wait.
This is good.
Here we go.
You found it, babe?
Yeah, I say we have access to past Patreon exclusive videos, which deals with what I was doing before, and a selection of new ones. What I mean by a selection of new ones is essentially we're going to post most of our Patreon content as we usually do for you, but I also want to make it so if we decide that there's one piece of content, it's not going to be shocking if it's like $10 tier or up. But in general, it's not going to be anything crazy or different than what it normally is.
So here are some comments from the new ones. From a cousin, I support your new tiers. From a financial standpoint, you probably saw the expenses running the podcast, and the previous tiers were not covering it. Love your podcast. Then someone says, as someone who has tried running a podcast on no budget, you're not wrong. Quality costs money sometimes, and podcast audience will be quick to let you know your audio is crunchy munchy.
Yes, they the fuck are.
And I'm really intrigued. I mean, the tone is definitely changed over on this post. Someone said, could you do some sort of video addressing comments and going through the changes? Judging from this comment section, we're all still very confused. And all of this could have been solved with just making a detailed video to announce it rather than leaving us to figure it all out on our own. I'm glad you made this post to clarify more, but it is still confusing. And I'd like to also hear the response to some of the criticism, as I do worry this will change the dynamic of the family we built here, and it will just turn into some capitalist content producing production. What, Mo?
Okay, so I mean, I guess we should okay. So $1 strangers. I think they're still getting what they get. That's just supporting us and saying I love Bob and Monet so much, and all I can afford is $1, and I want to give them this $1 monthly or one time or a lifetime, whatever, just to support them. Boom. Cousins, they're getting the 2 podcasts a week, the Watchery and the Rivalry, and they're getting, when we do, like Jacob was saying, most of our Patreon exclusives, like when we talked about the blackfishing and stuff like that. So you're still getting the same exact thing. Plus, correct me if I'm wrong, Jacob, 1 viewing party a month.
Yes, that's correct.
1 viewing party a month.
And we're also going to be sending out some merchandise and gifts as well to the stepdad tier. I just want some of these comments. I'm just going through the comments here. This one says, the cousins like me really need to calm the fuck down. You're not losing anything. Maybe it's just me, but I'm here to support the queens I love the most in whatever capacity I can. This is very much people getting mad about the meet and greet prices, store energy, like someone is forcing y'all to buy anything. And that got 17 likes, and someone just said this. And then someone said to that,
yeah,
I agree that people usually are talking. I agree that people like. Okay, there's a mistype here. Usually are taking it out of proportion, because that's just what people do. But if you've been here long enough as a patron of this Patreon, then you will know that we used to get several watch parties as cousins all through last year, and then suddenly kind of just stopped. So while them adding them back at a different tier is viable business idea and understandable, I don't think they can entirely say they're not taking anything away from anyone when we did used to have all the viewing parties. Also, this new tier, anyone when we anyway, this is long. It's a whole thing. It's like there's a few typos in there that's making my brain a little. It's in the thing.
So in response to that, as opposed to like Bob said, we've literally only got through 6 episodes of season 10 since last year.
Well,
so
we also started on season 8.
You,
Just to be clear, we did start on season 8, and then after
stopped
Chi
because
passed
of
away, I was like, it was just hard to watch the show.
So you got maybe let's say 9 viewing parties for more than a year. But now shifting to this, you're guaranteed 12 viewing parties a year, period. So you are getting more than what you were getting. And then the sibling tier, everything that I mentioned before for cousins, and you're getting also an additional viewing party. So you're getting 2 a month. So that's 14. 2 times 12, 24? So you're getting 24 viewing parties a year, plus everything else mentioned for cousins and strangers. And then the stepdad tier is getting 4 times 12 is 48. You're getting 48 viewing parties a year. Plus, we're also sending presents / gifts to you guys also.
Someone says here, y'all have been cranking out content since the pandemic started. You definitely deserve to make more with the amount of effort you're putting in. I will say the price jump is a little crazy. You could have just made the cousin tier 7, siblings 12, and then stepdad 15 or 17. I mean, I didn't want to change the price of the people who were already.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's not what you signed up for. That's not what you agreed to. You agreed to 5. You should say that.
A very popular comment which tickles me is, I canceled my Race Chaser subscription. I don't know why that's so funny.
Oh my God, because someone said this to me, and I have to about so someone sent me a link from Reddit. JK, we're kidding, guys, we're kidding.
Yo, just so we're clear, this whole bit was my sneaky little boyfriend. Y'all was right. I should have listened.
We're kidding, guys. We're kidding. JK.
Are we allowed to?
JK.
Are we allowed to joke about this? The answer is yes. This is a wild ride. Back to your regularly scheduled program.
And it's like, what do you guys? Now, this is for us. This is for us, family. About what Drag Race Review podcast they're really into it, and like overwhelmingly, people are really like our sibling watcher. People are really like over 90% of people who responded. They were like in favor of sibling watchery is the shit. So thank you guys for listening to watchery.
Well,
and
there's also a
enjoying it.
poll on YouTube saying that everyone thinks Rose is going to win Drag Race, so you can't trust these polls. Like Rose got 42% of the vote. I was gagged, and someone only got like 20 something. I was like, you know what? I'm leaving. This is wild. This is wild.
It is crazy how much it has shifted over the past couple weeks. How Simone's, how people rallying behind her has depleted. That is so, why she has not. She stumbled a little bit in the roast.
People really hate someone who's clearly winning from the beginning. Like people are just like, fuck them. I just don't want them to be winning from the get go.
No, Shea Coulee. Shea Coulee was from the time from episode 1. People knew Shea Coulee was winning All Stars, and everyone was rallying behind her.
I love this comment from Shane Scott. Said Jacob said, "Let me gather y'all for a second." When did you hear Jacob? I don't know why they comment. Really.
Girl, Jacob put on his piece and he got his jam, and Jacob was pulling them hairs back, girl. Jacob said, let me get these bitches together.
This person said, this sounds like some extortionary bullshit. Shake my head. And I'm like, extortion? Y'all are really throwing words around. Someone else said, in what sense? No shade. It's okay to not have every piece of content someone makes available. No one is being forced to pay more. People should do what they can afford or don't. There's still plenty of free content out there. What do you think about that comment? I mean, the extortionary bullshit, I'm like, this is... Okay, I mean, I hate to do a Bob the Drag Queen, but if we're looking up the definition of the word extortion is the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. Y'all, this maybe that was a joke and it flew over my head. You know what I mean?
yeah, it is definitely not extortion. But also just to do the math of what we're doing, 48 viewing for stepdads, 48 viewing parties for the year, bitch. That's literally just a little less than one a week, which it shouldn't be that because we're doing because wait. If it's 40, because someone's had 5 weeks, I don't fucking know how that works.
Money about a short circuit, bitch.
Math
trying to
meme.
do math.
Math meme, girl. Math meme.
But anyway, I just want to say, like, there was a moment in there when I was like, because I remember talking to about her fans, and she's like, girl, my fans be going crazy. No, okay, I probably shouldn't say that. Maybe.
Bitch, I pulled out the popcorn. I was like, ooh, what she say?
No. I remember being like, honestly, my fans are so even killed, and they're really like, I was like, I don't ever have situations where like I'm being canceled or being called Trump or an extortionist, or that where my boyfriend's being called a sneaky little Jew. Like, I just never had those situations.
And then the Patreon said, "Oh girl, hold my purse. We got you right now."
Your little Jew boyfriend. I was like, not. I was like, there's some anti-Semitic undertones in some of these comments, but
yeah.
Anyway, but there were some nice comments. I'll still pay regardless of content. These podcasts are saving my life while my dad is battling stage 4 cancer. I desperately need this to maintain my sanity and make me laugh. I also got my ultra conservative mother listening now, and we watch We're Here. So win-win. Keep on rocking.
Oh my God, we're here.
You know, maybe I'll do We're Here viewing parties. Because I have some behind the scenes tea, honey, from... I'm going to write a book.
Do you know what I was thinking too? Now, again, we're not guaranteeing this. I'm just literally throwing this idea out. So don't y'all be like, you said we're doing
Well,
this
it's
thing.
the cousin erasure for me.
Maybe. What I'd be really interested in, I don't know how feasible it would be for you. It doesn't have to be like fully, but I would love to see like little vlogs of you filming We're Here.
I mean, I could shoot a vlog. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't air them until the episode aired.
Oh yeah, you can't. Then never mind. I don't want to see that shit.
What, you only want to see it if it's ahead of time?
Yes, I want to feel like I'm getting an inside peek.
Monet, well, why did you give us inside peek when you were filming Lovecraft Country? How come we had to wait till it was on TV? Huh? Huh? Anyways, I just want to say, you know, I definitely don't want there to be. I would really be miffed if there was a moment where I was like, oh my God, the dynamic of sibling rivalry is fully changed. This is wild. But then I was like, honestly, I think that what we have going on over at sibling rivalry is strong enough to survive the moment. But I also feel strongly about people being able to feel comfortable, making sure they get paid for their work too.
Yeah, true. And you know what? And I think it's just a human thing. Like, everyone is a little averse to change, and when something changes, everyone is like, whoa. So I think it's just like the initial shock. And like I said, I think that we could have done a better job of putting the Jacob post first and being like, here's what's about to happen before like announcing it suddenly. So I do agree that we could have done a better job of that. But I think that once the dust is settling, people are like, okay, this isn't as crazy as I thought. It was just a gut reaction to be mad at change.
But what Monet's not telling you is that she's literally sitting on a stack of $100 bills. It's not even a chair. It's not even a chair. Do you want to come clean about that? And Monet is chugging a very expensive bottle of the tequila with the worm in it. Do you want to come clean about that, Monet?
This does not have a worm in it.
But what kind of tequila is it? What kind of tequila is it?
Patron.
Patron.
Patron don't got no worm in it.
That's like expensive. That's expensive booze,
Well,
Monet.
I am here in New Mexico filming for a show, and bitch, they stocked my room, honey. I was like, ooh, gas, honey. I got me some Patron.
I mean, the bottle of Patron's $80.
That is not okay. You're looking at the big one. This is not the big one. This is like the little this is like the $25.
First of all, we know your hands are big. We don't know how big that fucking bottle is. We have no clue how big that fucking bottle is.
You were such a messy bitch. You're such a messy bitch.
Here's a question. Do you think that we should this might be too much. What if we get a second RSS feed that's private? Can you make RSS feed private?
I don't know that. I'm about to answer like I know.
My
I
thought
can
process
Google it
is
right
like
now.
if we had an RSS feed that was private, or was there a place where we could release commercial-free podcasts for patrons if they want to listen but not have the commercials?
Bob, they already are commercial free on Patreon.
No, but that's through the videos. But if they want to like listen
like
through
the audio.
Yeah, if they want to like listen like in the car or something, is there a way to make a private RSS feed?
It says set the RSS feed settings to private. Move to the distribution tab, and you'll notice you have the option to distribute your podcast publicly or privately. Toggle the setting to podcast is private, so your podcast can only be accessed by those with the right RSS feed link. So yes, we can do that.
Oh, interesting. Muy interesante. I will say this:
we can ask Starburns can maybe do that for us.
We are always looking to find ways to improve our community here over at Sibling Rivalry, and although some of y'all was very out of pocket, I do hear your concerns, and I did. Someone did get. I was like, "This is too much, y'all. This is wild." It's the name calling for me.
What are we gonna call? Because I really want to do this highlighting thing. What can we call it? You're good at names.
Actually, someone came up with a name I thought was actually better than Stepdad. I came with Stepdad on the moment. Like, it just flew out of my mouth.
Aunties. Aunties.
Cool,
I like aunties.
Cool aunt.
No, that's too much. I feel just calling aunties. It's cute.
No, cool aunt.
Everybody got a favorite
No,
auntie.
the cool aunt is great. Something about the cool aunt.
I don't like that. So then we stay in the stepdad, and I don't like cool aunt.
We can make it a stepdad poll.
Yeah, would it be cool aunt, auntie, or stepdad?
What do you want to call yourselves? Okay.
Anyway,
We can call it sibling spotlight, sibling spotlightery.
honestly, calling things whatever it really tickles me pink. I was going through our YouTube page the other day and I looked back at our little commercial for our tour that never happened, and I was like, "This is
so good,
such a great commercial."
So good. It was our commercial. Our tour commercial was really cute, but we got to film a new one when the new tour dates are announced.
How about when we did?
Which, by the way, guys, if you have tickets, you should get refunds or. Because people have been tagging us and be like, "Ooh, I'm seeing Bob and Monet in like 3 days," and I'm like, "No, the hell you not."
No, bitch, they're at your house.
But
They'll
also
see you.
to reiterate that you need to get them from Five Senses Reeling. We have nothing to do with the booking of the shows.
Yeah,
at
just so
all.
you guys know, Monet Exchange and I are booked talent on the tour. We are not the producers of the tour. We are just booked talent on the tour. So you have to go to Five Senses Reeling, and they will refund you or reissue your ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, because new dates are coming again. So there will be, and I'm sure, and they can, but contact them and they can help you sort it out. So if you need that coin back or whatever it is, you should definitely get a refund until the new dates are announced.
Our tour would have been done by now. That's so
Girl,
crazy.
I think about it. I get so upset that. Obviously the pandemic happened, but I just really, I was so excited to go and meet all the folk and to tour with you, and we were hiring like a vlogging crew to like do like a little mini doc of the tour. It's gonna be so great, and
Which I think we found a great new person to do like a little mini doc. We did some interviews and like,
oh yes,
we're not gonna say this, but we found someone who I'm like, honestly, this slaps.
Yeah. So that's it. I hope you guys have a good day, or a good night, or good morning, whenever you're watching this.
And I'm also really excited about expanding our family over here in terms of like we're getting social media people. We have a higher staff. When me and Monet started, here's the little sibling rivalry journey. When me and Monet started, it was just me, Monet, and Mitch Farina. So we used to do the podcast. I used to edit the audio. Mitch would edit the video, and Monet would not do a damn thing but show up. Anyway, and that was like the first year of the podcast, and you're laughing because you know it's true. That was like the first year of the podcast, and then I was like, we should do a Patreon. And honestly, I never told Monet this. This was I was either gonna start a Bob the Drag Queen fan club, or do this.
You did tell me this. Why? I love how you had any idea that you didn't tell me first. You wanted to do your little Bob the Drag Queen fan club and send like your little like Bob the Drag Queen letterheads to your fans and and send them pictures and merch and
Anyway, what I decided to do, I sacrificed my Patreon to have one with this bitch to share a Patreon with Monet Exchange, and a lot of y'all know our early day. It's really weird to me how like. In the early days, we were so crunchy, and no one said anything. And now y'all fucking stupid Jew niggers are out here switching the price.
Switch that way, make you think that I'm cheating. Switch that way, make you think that I'm cheating.
Anyway, so then we got our Patreon, and then Monet and I were also simultaneously touring and working and filming. And then during quarantine, we hired my sneaky. During quarantine, we hired my sneaky little boyfriend, and
we also rehired Mitch. Then we hired Jay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we hired Jacob to run our Patreon, and I just want to thank you, Jacob. It really took off. I mean, we were able to, although sometimes trying to get money to respond to text is a nightmare.
But Jacob, hold the fuck on. Jacob, please chime in right now. Who is harder to respond to? Me? I'm the hard one? Jacob, please sign off.
Here's the thing. Because I'm dating Bob, between the two of you, he is much easier for me to get a hold of. And that
backfired. Your little survey backfired, Monet. Your little survey backfired.
Let him talk.
Ability to answer or not answer text. It doesn't mean you are hard to reach. But if asked a straight question to me, which one of you is easier to get in contact, it is easier to get in contact with Bob.
Jacob will stop in the middle. Jacob will stop in the middle of a blowjob and be like, "Should we upload on Tuesdays or Wednesdays?"
I will say this, bitch. We be having ad sponsors for the thing. For weeks, Bob will not even know if someone is advertising on the thing until he gets the products. I'm the one corresponding with the people. Like, okay, good.
No,
So
real, see, I got this daily harvest. I was like, what is? Why do
I got it too.
I was like, why do I have daily harvest? I was like, Jacob, this yours? Ezra, is this yours?
Girl, we're also sponsoring Tushy soon. They sent us Tushies to our homes.
Oh my god. Anyway, so we hired Jacob, and then once we hired Jacob, we ended up hiring back Mitch, which honestly is great to have Mitch back over at Sibling Rivalry, and then we also hired on Jay DeFeo, and we recently have hired a
so
social
good.
media person. So we're gonna have a TikTok, and we're gonna have a our Instagram and all that jazz. So I'm just really honestly very excited.
Yeah, we're getting all the things together. We're hiring a bunch of people. And well, I don't know if we should we say we could also think about this. We're also gonna plan to try to do some more anything you can do's, which
I used to have to
like
beg Monet. Me and Monet had a whole like she was like, I don't want to do no anything you can do's. I don't. But let me tell you,
that is not
let
true.
one fan be like, I like them. Monet's like, honestly, I've loved them from the beginning. I've always wanted to do them.
True.
It was my idea. You used to
Anyways.
hate. If y'all think Monet likes doing anything you can do, go back and watch that fucking Bob Ross. Go back and watch the sewing challenge. If you think Monet liked them, look at that bitch's attitude in those videos.
Well, I want to reiterate again. A lot of times, the reason I had an attitude is because right before the cameras came on, Bob and I were arguing about something, or Bob was being Bob the bully about something.
Oh, it was me. It wasn't us. It was me. Go off, sis.
Yeah, it would get me in a bad mood.
We still need to do our big anything you can do like finale needs to be a pageant. We should
finale. We're starting to make.
I know what I'm saying.
finale.
We should do a season of anything you can do. They can be like a bunch of little things, and the last one is us going to a pageant. I tried to get us to do Alaska's pageant last year, and Alaska was like, "We're closed. We have enough. We have enough people." But we still need to do this fucking pageant. That's the finale of anything you can do. Because it's time to answer this fucking question. I'm about to scrub you.
Okay, Bob, go off. I mean, honestly, the most impressive part about Bob is Bob's confidence in thinking that he can do anything. So if that's what gets you off, baby, go right ahead. But let me tell you one thing.
Tell me.
The thing is that you're not beating me in. You're not beating me in any pageant.
Okay. Muy interesante.
Period.
Muy fucking interesante. Okay?
And y'all can timestamp this, because then when I beat that bitch, post it all over her feed. I want y'all to tag on Instagram, on Twitter, on fucking Pornhub. Tag this bitch with this fucking quote that you will never beat me in the motherfucking pageant. Period.
Same. Because I remember having this exact same conversation about Smash Brothers. Now look at you. Go back and timestamp that
that's
too.
Different.
Of course it's different. All right, this has gone on long enough. I love you very much, despite your delusions. And do you?
Well, I love our patrons. I don't love you. I love our patrons. I love you guys.
You don't
very
love the
much.
cousins. You don't love the cousins. I'm kidding.
It's a cousin Richard for me.
All right, I love you all so much. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for supporting us. I do want to say this. In all honesty, I talk about being proud of this Patreon all the time, and the content that we have over here,
Same.
and the family that we've built over here, and the connection that we have. I am genuinely very, very grateful, and I hope that it doesn't seem like. I mean, I guess in my head, people are like, Bob, just some rich motherfucker paying for his two boyfriends to live it up big, and that's where the money's going. I'm like, is that what people think is going on over here?
I think so. I think that people who aren't involved in like, you know, influencers, I guess, because we are that, but also like running small businesses. I think people really be think that we are out here like Rockefellers, like we're like getting in limousines and black cars, and we have assistants getting all our things. I think that's what people really think it's like. And
just to be clear, me and Jacob were having a discussion last night about getting a car. And we landed on Jacob's parents are going to send us a Subaru that they've already paid off. So I'm going to be driving.
Girl, yeah, It's not. It's not that.
We're
I
not
mean,
living below the
it's just
poverty
not that.
line, but
I
we're
would like to say
right.
that in your list you said assistants getting everything.
my
which
assistants
you
don't get
both
everything. Yeah, we have assistants, but
I mean-
our assistants don't get us everything.
Yeah, Patty. Honestly, I'm currently hiring. So maybe if there's one of you out here who can get everything, then you hired, because that's not my
Yeah,
experience.
Kenny doesn't get me everything. Also, Jacob, you get me some stuff too. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love you all very much. And what if this whole podcast just inflames it even more? What if they're like, fuck these bitches?
You know what? And that is a real possibility. But Bob and I cannot do anything but be transparent and honest. I mean, we literally never make it a habit in anything that we do to like chop it up and to pretend. Like, that is just not our MO. So if you think we're like doing some fake shit on here, then bitch, go off. I don't know what to tell you.
So quote Cardi B, but that's not my MO. I'm not that type of bitch. Karma for you is gonna be who you end up with. You make me sick.
Jacob is trying to wrap you up.
Well then,
We're wrapping up.
bye.
We're
Click
wrapping
the
up.
button then, Jacob. If you bad, click the button.